Make sure you subscribe to this live feed so you don't miss any future episodes. And we have some brand new questions this week, but first I want to start off with what not to do. So today, while I was eating lunch at my favorite poke place in Chino Hills, if you're ever in Chino Hills, for one of our workshops, one of our events, you have to go to Ichi Poke, and hopefully this doesn't happen to you and ruin your experience, but they have the best poke. Anyway, I was sitting there eating my lunch, and this woman walks up to me, kind of catches me off guard, lays this down on the table, and just starts going off on her elevator pitch. And I stopped listening, so I don't really know exactly what the pitch was, but she never engaged in conversation with me, so I just put my head down and kept eating until she walked away. But it was something about a 1-week guest pass and an entry for something, and then she also said she'd throw in another entry. I was catching bits and pieces of it. But when she left, even if I was a good fit for LA Fitness, I was so irritated that she ruined my lunch that I wouldn't even consider the offer anyway. So one thing you don't want to do is just print out black and white flyers and randomly just pass them down, to people eating lunch or putting them on cars. I've never came out to my car in the parking lot and somebody left a flyer on there and me grab the flyer and be happy that they did. It's usually irritating. Now what do? Am I the bad guy and throw it on the ground and litter, or do I put it in my car and have to worry about throwing it away later? It's always a bad experience. Same thing like knocking on doors. If I'm in the middle of eating dinner with my family and I hear my doorbell ring, I'm thinking it's one of my daughter's friends or something. I open the door and somebody trying to sell me something. I usually just close the door and go back to eating dinner with my family. I don't feel bad about it. There's a right way and a wrong way to engage with people. If she would have come up to me and just hey, excuse me, do you have a minute? Do you mind if I ask you something? It would have been, and I could have said yes, or I could have said no. If I would have said no, she could have thank you, no problem, walked away. I wouldn't have been irritated at all. But she didn't. She just she came up, put this on the table, and just started going right into her spiel. She didn't even take a breath and then just walked away. And I'm like, okay, great. You don't know my name. You don't know if I'm even interested. Chances are that she's not going to get anybody to take her up on this offer by doing that. A much better way of doing it would be as I'm walking from my car to go eat, just say, hey, excuse me, you have a minute? I'd love to ask you a question, or can you help me out for a second? And open up with a question or asking my permission. Plus, flyers are so outdated. This is from early 90s or even before that. We have the internet now. We have text message marketing. There's so many other platforms that you can get your message out, and people can actually choose to consume your content and choose to read your offer, and you can draw them in with good, engaging content that you don't have to do this. This is so ineffective. It's a total waste of her time, and if anything, she's turning people off to LA Fitness rather than drawing them in. So that's what not to do. That isn't one of the questions this week, but I just wanted to share that experience with you. I've been to blame for this too. When I didn't know any better, I would put flyers on people's cars, and then once I realized what I was doing, I never did it again. But so if you're doing flyers like this, don't do it. One good thing to ask yourself if you should or shouldn't be doing something when it comes to marketing is that if everybody else did it at the same time, would it be okay? So imagine all the stores in that shopping center, if they were all walking up to me while I was eating, tell me what their offer is for the day. It'd be a horrible experience. This person isn't special. They don't have special permission, to come up and interrupt me. So if everybody else is doing it and it would be okay, then yeah, then do it. But if it would be, chaos, which it would, then don't do it. That's all you have to ask yourself. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So this first person is saying that they're getting a ton of new people into their bootcamp program, and it's actually causing them some issues that they need help with. So first of all, it's a good problem to have. Growth is done in the chaos and in the overwhelm. You start figuring out solutions really fast. But it's better to have that problem than not enough people, than crickets, than not having enough people come in. So getting so many people into your program that it's causing you issues and causing you to step up your game to cater to all those new people is actually a good thing. So the first problem that it's causing is that they had already increased their prices, and first of all, this person, their pricing structure was they were doing $5 for a session of classes, and then they increased it to 10, 15, and now they're up to 20. First of all, that's not a very good pricing structure. I would suggest not selling the workouts and sell the results. So first thing you want to do before you even think of anything else is focus on selling results. Because one workout in and of itself, I don't care if you're the world's best trainer, if I just got one workout from you and never did anything else ever again, there's zero value there. I'm going to be sore. It's actually more negative, more cons than pros. I'm going to be sore the next day, hardly be able to walk, whatever. And then if I don't do any more workouts or do anything, it's not really going to do me anything good long term. I'm coming to you to get results. So you should sell your entire program. Your program costs X, Y, Z, and that includes everything that we have coming in. If you can afford to do unlimited, then do unlimited. If you can only have the room to do 3 times a week, then it's just 3 times a week. That's our program, up to 3 times a week, so they can still do twice. Because if somebody's goal is to lose 20 pounds and one person loses 20 pounds coming in twice a week, another person's goal is to lose 20 pounds and they have to come in 4 times a week, at the end of the day, when they both lose 20 pounds, did the person that come in 4 times a week, did they deserve to pay more? Did they get more value? And the answer is no. I would actually argue that the person that came in twice a week got more value because they had more time to spend with their family, more time to do stuff that is fun. It could be other opportunities to invest or make money or work to increase their lifestyle. So if they're able to get the same results with twice a week, it's just as valuable as 4 times a week. So if you're charging by the session, you want to strongly consider changing it to your entire program. I only like 2 options, and we would do a month-to-month option. We do a $247 or a 12 consecutive month option at $197. It's like you either want this or this. When you start breaking it down to 2 times a week, 3 times a week, month-to-month price, 12-month price, 6-month price, 8-month price, they're going to get really confused and not buy anything. So the issue she was having anyway was that she increased her prices from $5 to $20, but the $5 a session people were referring their friends, and already telling their friends what they're paying. So when the person went to tell them it's $20 a session, they're like, well, I'm not going to pay that. My friend's only paying this. And that's one of the problems. So I've encountered the same problem, but as a whole, with the $197 a month. When we first started, we went from $147, then we went up to $197 for 12 consecutive months. So if somebody referred their friend and they're paying $147, I would, show them the new prices. If they didn't say anything and signed up at the $197, no problem, that's fine. But if they were to say, yeah, I can't see myself paying $197 when I know so-and-so is only paying $147, I would kindly explain to them that was our grand opening special for the first 100 members. That's no longer available. But what I can do is, if you're really committed, you like the program, you're going to be in it long term, if you prepay for the year, then I can do it at $147 a month. So never give anybody something for nothing. Always, sure, I can do that if you can do this. And that way they can say, nah, you know what, I'll just do the $197 a month, no problem. Or they'll say, yeah, no problem, here you go. Here's the, paid in full for a year at $147. So that's the best way to do it. So if somebody's giving you that price objection because their friend, came in, offer at least 6 to 12 months paid in full, I would go for the 12 months and then maybe retreat down to 6 months if you don't want to lose them, or just be willing to lose that person if they don't want to pay the new rate or the new prices. They wanted to know also what's the best way to increase your prices. So when you're first opening, you can always do a pre-sale offer, or a charter member, a founding member offer, and then you can do a grand opening offer. But after that, you want it to be a set price for everybody coming in, and then I would increase your prices every single year. So the best time to do it is in the month of December. December is usually a slow month because after Thanksgiving, everybody's focused on buying stuff for other people, not themselves. Now come January, they're ready to go. So I would always send out an email to my members, letting them know that there's going to be a price increase as of January 1st. It's going from $147 up to $167 or $157 or whatever it is that you're going to increase it to. And they're going to get a little nervous thinking they're going to have to pay more. And then you're going to come in and say, but as long as you stay here and you never quit and leave and come back, you'll never pay more than what you're paying now. And but if you have any family or friends or coworkers that have been on the fence about joining, now's the time for them to join, because if they join during the month of December, they'll be locked in at the same rate as well. So that way you have the ability to get some new sales in December at the old rate. And then as of January 1st, you have the new rate. So the main thing is pick a date and then stick to it. So if it's not January 1st, if it's June 1st or whatever, so that way when people do come in and try to say, I thought your prices were this, but they were as of up until January 1st. After January 1st, this was our new rate, and you can try to justify, give them a reason why, we reinvested, bought some new turf, or bought some new equipment, or we brought in a nutritionist, or we added this service, or whatever you want to say. but pick a date and stick to it. A lot of times people will increase the pricing and they don't even remember when they increased it, and then they have nothing to come back when people start arguing, how much they should or shouldn't be paying. But just be willing, if their friend tells them how much they're paying, it's going to be really hard for them to pay more and justify it. So a lot of times I'll try to get them to pay in full to get more money up front, or I'm just willing to lose them. Or if you like them and think they're a good fit, then just go ahead and give them the same deal as their friend. Not much else that you can do with that. So that's what you do when it comes to raising your rates. And if somebody is trying to ask for the same, like a lower rate from the past that one of their friends have. One of the other issues they're having from having too many people coming into their, to their boot camp is that, they had to start having people reserve a space for for their next session or class. I never had that issue personally, but a lot of my coaching clients have, and they use a software either like Zen Planner or MindBody or whatever you use that they go in and register, pre-register for. There's a couple of ways that that you can do it. The first thing that we would do, because we did have like an accountability program where people could say that what their schedule was, and we hold them accountable to actually showing up, is that if they reserve a space and they don't make it and they don't come in, when I would do like a roll call before before you get started for that session, and be like, oh, Jane's not here today. She's supposed to be here. Has anybody seen Jane? I mean, I hope she's okay. I hope she's not sick. I bet she's not feeling well. We should do, 25 get well burpees for her, and get your video out and video everybody in the warm-up doing their 25 get well burpees for Jane. Put it on Facebook, tag her like, hey, you were missing boot camp today, so you must not be feeling well. So we all did 25 get well burpees for you. Hope that helps. See you tomorrow. That should be enough pressure, social pressure, for them to show up or quit. And people are going to reach out to them, hey, missed your boot camp today, I hope you're okay. And plus it makes light of the situation, and that could take care of it. The other thing that you can do is I've had clients that would have their only 24 hours in advance that they could reserve the session for the next day. So they couldn't schedule out, a week in advance. And the only time that becomes a problem is if people go to schedule a session and there's nothing available, and for like 4 or 5 days and they can't get in, then you do have a problem. But as long as they can reserve every day, 24 hours in advance, that helps, because then not as much things can come up within 24 hours. If they schedule 3, 4, 5 days out, and then they forget their kid had a dentist appointment, or they had a parent-teacher meeting at school, or whatever could come up, and that's probably one of the reasons why they're not coming in. And then you can also have a platinum membership where they can pay more and get 48 hours, so they get a kind of a jump start on everybody else if they want like a higher level of service or something like that. You could do that as well. So one of the other things is that they say now they have so many people coming in that people are showing up late, and it's kind of interrupting their classes. When it comes to showing up late, people only do what you allow them to do. So if they show up late, nothing happens, and then everything's fine. What we did is for every minute they were late, that's how many burpees they have to do before they could, jump in. And after 10 minutes, they weren't allowed, they'd have to wait till the next session. We would close the door, and they wouldn't be able to come in. So you can lock the door if you want. I know some people that are like really militant about it. 10 minutes after, they'll run over, lock the door. People come up, knock, they'll open the door and be like, hey, 10 minutes late, you're gonna have to wait till the next one. And just make it part of doing business with you, make it the way, how you're doing, especially if they are interrupting, your classes. When I first started, I had a 9 a.m. class, and about 6 to 8 of the moms would always show up about 15 to 20 minutes late. After a while, I was like, you guys got to get here on time. You guys can't be showing up that late. And I asked them why they couldn't be here by then. They said that preschool drop-off was at 9 a.m. And so then I changed it to 9:30, and they were showing up a couple minutes late, but what they were doing then was squeezing in Starbucks in between preschool drop-off and boot camp. So, but it fixed the problem. So sometimes it's just a matter of logistics for them. So if it's a good percentage of people that are consistently late, just have open communication with them, ask them, why they're late, what you can do to help them. And if you have to adjust the times because it's something like that, then I would go for it. And when I changed it from 9 a.m. to 9:30, I had a whole lot more moms that started coming in and signing up for that class time, because the other ones didn't care about being late. The other ones just thought they couldn't, so they didn't even try. So I got a lot more people into that time anyway. So it actually worked out. So those are some of the issues that this person was having with getting too many people in. Again, it's some good issues to have. Follow those solutions that I just gave, and you'll be able to scale and grow your business much more smoothly without upsetting some of your past members or having new members being confused about what your policies are or aren't. So our last question is, this person has a town festival coming up that they paid to be a vendor at. They get like a 10 by 10 spot, a tent. They want to know like what are some good activities and giveaways to draw people in. So one of the things, when people go to these kind of festivals and stuff, they got these bags and they're just tossing stuff, in the bags. And when they get home, they don't usually go through all the, flyers and, all these like pencils and this and that, all these things. So what we did is one of the things, we just got the rubber wristbands, rubber bracelets that was good for a free week. And we would have them on our wrists and we just take them off, and then instead of handing it to them, we just stretch them out and tell them to put it on and put it on them. So that way the bracelet stayed on their wrist, and when they got home, it stood out from all the other junk that they had in their bag. So I'll just make this like a festival checklist. So one was a free week bracelet. And as far as like competitions or giveaways or a game that you can play, we had people guess their body fat percentage and win. So we'd have like the 5 pounds of fat model sitting there, the pound of muscle, so that way it looks like it's really drastic as far as lean tissue to fat. Then we had a couple of the Omron body fat analyzers, and we'd have people sign up to guess their body fat. They'd write down what they thought their body fat percentage was. We'd test it, write down what it really was, and then at the end of the day, whoever was the closest would win. And some of the best prizes you could give away, like 6 months. It's like a 6-month giveaway. We have that opt-in, so you could have like some iPad Minis with a 6-month giveaway opt-in on there. We'd have a spreadsheet as well with the person's name, get their email, phone number, what their guess was, what their actual body fat was, and then what the difference was, so we could easily find who the winner was. And people like doing that because everybody's curious about their body fat percentage. Everybody knows what their weight is, but they have no idea how much body fat they have. And it gives you a chance to explain what body fat percentage actually is and what it means, and that it's actually doesn't say how much fat you have, but what the ratio of fat to lean tissue actually is. So it gives you a chance to engage in conversation. It's fun for them to play and guess. One of the things at festivals like this, there's so many other distractions from food carts and other businesses that you have to have something that stands out. If you're just sitting back waiting for people to come up to you, you're going to get way less engagement. So you have to be, aggressive, and not to the point where you scare people away. So I learned this the hard way. I worked out a deal with Nordstrom, and me and my one only trainer at the time, who was like twice the size of me, we worked out a deal where we could set up a table with a body fat analyzer in the women's section at Nordstrom, and people would walk by. Two big guys get up and trying to go talk to them, and they're just literally like running away from us. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, why won't anybody talk to us? And we realized they're probably pretty scary looking. So we went and hired some girls to come and do it, and it was like the complete opposite. So at a festival like this, if you're big, got tons of muscles, look intimidating, hire some of your clients or friends, people that look a lot more friendlier, and have them going around with the iPad Mini, telling them what they can win. They can walk around the festival even and be more aggressive with the body fat analyzer. Tell them they can win 6 months of your program. I would also give away like whatever the hot tech item is, whether it's like a Fitbit or a iPad Pro or whatever the new thing that's out at the time. It used to be iPads. We could give away iPads all day long, and people would sign up for whatever. Your main goal here is to get as many names, emails, phone numbers as possible, and then follow up afterwards. So make it fun, have contests, be aggressive, not overly aggressive where you're scaring them away. So hire some, girls that can actually go and collect the emails and stuff for you. They don't have to be knowledgeable about fitness or about nutrition, because all they're doing is getting people to enter. They can refer them to you if they have questions about their diet, about the workout program. Like, say, see those guys over there? They look mean, but they're really nice. Go talk to them. They can tell you all about meal plans and diets and stuff like that. So you can have the nice, looking and friendly looking people refer them to the mean, intimidating people when they say that you're really not, that mean. And again, just collect as many names, as many phone numbers as possible during the event, and then follow up systematically. Use our monster follow-up, which you can find in the Fitness Marketer Lab. And right now, if you go to fitnessmarketerlab.com, you can get a free 7-day trial. You'll see all the information in there. Go to the monster follow-up and plug in all the names, numbers, emails that you get from your event into the monster follow-up, and then just follow up like crazy. Get them into your program either for that free week, and then upsell them to your regular programs. So that's it for the event or festival checklist. That's all I have for you guys this week. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.